Hello, this is John Miller, the creator of this podcast. Now, the rest of Everest is probably the most in-depth look at just what it takes to climb the world's highest peak. But keep in mind that it is a series. And if you're checking out the podcast for the first time, do yourself a favor, go back to episode 0 and watch everything in order. That's really the right way to enjoy it. Thanks so much.
This is the Rest of Everest video podcast, an almost unabridged expedition experience. Episode 63, A New Beginning.
Well, hello again, everyone. Welcome back to the Rest of Everest video podcast. I'm John Miller. It's the first official episode of the 2007 series, and I'm very happy to have my traveling companion and best friend, Scott Jacobs, right here in the studio with me. How you doing, Scott?
Doing well.
Scott's out visiting from California, where he's a ranger up in Yosemite National Park.
That's right.
I was fortunate enough to get him to go with me out to Tibet, and those of you who followed the Tibet 2007 audio podcast while we were actually on the trip will already know Scott, but for those of you who don't, you will definitely get to know Scott over the coming weeks. This episode, we start the trip, and so we actually have to fly to Kathmandu. So what do you say? Let's get on the plane and let's go to Kathmandu.
Sounds great.
Okay, so this is on the flight from Denver to Los Angeles, and we flew over the canyon country, the Colorado Plateau. And the reason I'm showing this to you is because it actually looks quite a lot like Tibet. Tibet, the plateau is mostly desert, so it was fairly fitting that we flew over the desert in the United States. We flew to Hong Kong after Los Angeles, and then Bangkok, and then you take a flight from Bangkok to Kathmandu, and you get to see Everest. So this was your first time seeing Everest?
First glimpse of the Himalayas. First of Everest. This is our number 36, I believe.
Yeah.
We're doing pretty well.
It takes quite a long time to get there, because it's halfway around the world from Colorado. Are they as big as looking as you thought they would be?
They're bigger, definitely. You and I have both lived in the shadow of mountains before. Nothing like this.
The scope of these mountains were just huge. I mean, looking out the plane window, it's all you could see.
Yeah.
Mountains.
Just range after range after range.
Well, and then you realize these are the tallest mountains in the world.
And that's the tallest point.
Yeah. Look at it. Big time.
And the pilot will say that, hey, Everest is out the right-hand window, and then everyone on the plane suddenly starts to get all agitated and they want to see it, especially the people on the other side. And everyone sort of makes this mad dash to the right side of the plane, and you wonder for a bit if the plane's going to get off balance or something.
This kid was great.
Yeah, this was I don't know what his name was, but we became friends.
I don't think he really spoke to us.
Yeah.
But we shared some of our food with him, and he actually shared some of his food with us.
Yeah, I think he was just traveling back to Kathmandu alone.
I think so.
And I had a neck pillow that I wasn't using, and he kept falling asleep and his head kept wobbling all over the place. So I gave him my neck pillow, which he really enjoyed, and he fell soundly asleep. And then as a thank you, he gave me some little French fry snack that he had with him. Nice kid.
My passport. Hard won.
I've said it before in the podcast, but Thai Airways is the best airline in the world, I think. It's really good. So Scott, what are you thinking about as you're looking at that stuff?
I'm thinking about the view of the Rockies from the front porch on Elkhorn Drive.
That nice big view of Long's Peak and the Diamond.
I just remember sitting out there having coffee and just having the same wanderlust, just looking at these mountains. Kind of like I'm looking at these the rougher mountains though.
It's funny because
did you ever do that?
Well, what I remember thinking about when I was at base camp was that the north face of Everest is almost the same height as Long's Peak itself, just the north face, and you're already at 17,000 feet.
That statement makes a lot more sense.
Now.
Yeah.
The scope of this is hard to comprehend right now. I mean, this is the largest mountain range that I've ever laid eyes on.
I use one kind of cameras. I took this camera. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is Karma. Everyone, you
Yeah,
remember
hi,
Karma?
Yeah.
We are. What hotel is this?
It's Marshandi Hotel. Marshandi.
Mashandi?
Yeah, Marshandi.
And so we're right in Tamil again, and we've made it to
To Nepal.
Nepal.
Kathmandu.
Here's Scott over there.
Hello.
And so we made it,
Welcome
but
back Nepal.
but our bags haven't made it yet. Our bags are probably still in Bangkok. Hopefully they're
Hopefully
in Bangkok.
tomorrow.
Hopefully they're not in Hong Kong. Because we leave for Lhasa on Thursday.
Yeah.
On Thursday, which is, so today is Tuesday.
Otherwise we leave on Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if we leave Saturday, then it pushes everything
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah.
So, we can still do it.
Yeah, we could do it. Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, so we're back in Kathmandu, and it's great to be here. It's great to be back in Nepal. Had a great flight in. Of course, I threw up on the plane on.
Are you through?
Yeah, I threw up on the plane from Hong Kong to Bangkok?
Weak stomach.
It's been such a
I did,
such
yeah,
a
one
month.
time. Yeah.
Yeah. But made it, and we're back. We were welcomed to Nepal, so it's great to be back. What?
I want our bags to come tomorrow.
Okay, so what's your first? This is your first time here.
I don't understand.
What was the drive like
I don't
from the
understand
airport?
the rules of the road.
There are no rules to the road, but see, the thing is though that they don't seem to have very many traffic accidents here because they can't get fast enough to get into any trouble.
They got to go through a lot of breaks.
Yeah. But it's the rest of the world, they drive with their horns.
Sure.
We'll see more of that kind of driving going on here. Where are you?
Narrow roads in every different direction of
I
traffic.
can see you.
I couldn't believe that.
It's pretty interesting to be back in Kathmandu. It's been since 2003. It's now 2007, and was one heck of a haul to get here. Let's see, we left Sunday afternoon, 5:30 p.m. from Denver, and we flew to Los Angeles, and then we had a few hours layover in Los Angeles, and then we flew to Hong Kong, which I'd never been to before, and then that was a 15-hour flight, really. It was 14 hours and 50 some odd minutes. And then we flew after a couple hours layover in Hong Kong, we flew to Bangkok, and then with about 40 minutes in Bangkok, we flew to Kathmandu. And obviously it was fast enough for us to get to the plane, but it wasn't fast enough for our bags to get to the plane. So we've got 3 duffel bags, all of our sleeping bags, all of our clothing, all of my tripod, all that kind of stuff. So looking forward to getting that stuff. But Kathmandu is always everything you could expect it could be when just you leave from the airport and you drive to your hotel. It's just a completely different world, and it's just always amazing. So it's a pleasure to be back. What we were talking about, I didn't film it in the car because we were trying to take care of the bag situation, but you know, there's a lot of talk about the Maoists and protests and all kinds of things, and you know, it's considered very dangerous to be here right now, but that's just not the case. It's extremely safe. It's extremely welcoming. It's extremely Kathmandu. So we're extremely safe here. We're extremely happy to be here. We don't expect any difficulties aside from the luggage, and that's pretty much going to be par for the course. So, I mean, what can you do? We lost our luggage. It will get here hopefully tomorrow, and then we'll have a full day in Kathmandu tomorrow. Take care of some money business, having to pay Nomad Expeditions and everything, and then buying our plane ticket to Lhasa. And then on Thursday, the 5th, today's Tuesday the 3rd, Nepali time. So on Thursday we'll fly up to Lhasa, and I've never been to Lhasa, so I'm very, very excited about going up to Lhasa. So that's pretty much it for right now. We're going to take some naps. Scott has another room downstairs, or upstairs, excuse me, and he's
Without the
crashing out
window
right
or
now.
air conditioning.
And then we're going to take a little bit of a walk around Tamil. We'll see how that goes. It's going to be fun to revisit some places. So, so good to be here. Namaste.
Do you remember the Maoists on the way in? There was a procession. They were on their way to.
Oh yeah, there were people walking in a line. Yeah, I didn't film very much. I didn't film anything from the airport. And then this first day I really didn't film much except for me talking to the camera. You see my traveling clothes. It's going to be good to get out of these because I actually vomited on myself. I really did. Oh, too.
You should have seen the
Right,
look on
so-
the stewardess's face.
This is the morning of the 4th of April, so this is our first full day here back in Nepal, and took a bit of a break from filming last night. You know, you've got to kind of really experience the place, and you can't always experience it through the lens. So, you know, the first night here, kind of just decided to take the evening without the camera, kind of introduce Scott to Tamil, which is just insane. You know, there's so many people everywhere, and there's so many. You know, it's a completely different world. If you know, and it's hard enough when you've been here before. So you know, it's a little bit disorientating, and it's totally, you know, it's tough in a good way, if that makes any sense. So we went to dinner at the New Orleans Cafe, which is a favorite place of mine, and you know, it's interesting though, because the last time I was there was with Ben, and we walked in for breakfast, I think on the morning we were going to leave, or maybe it was the morning before we left to go back to the United States after the 2003 expedition. And we walked in and we came across our good friend David Sharp, who, you know, David has become well known. Unfortunately, after his passing, he died up on Everest in 2006. And he was the one that many people know his name because it was widely reported that he was passed while he was dying by several climbers on the way up and the same climbers on the way down. Obviously, there's more to that story than just that, but that's typically what he's been known for. Anyway, he was a friend of ours from the Northern Ireland team. And so we walked into the New Orleans back in 2003, and there was David with his thumbs all bandaged up because he had frostbite, and his feet were all bandaged up because he had frostbite, and he was just reading a book and enjoying some coffee. And we sat down and we had a lovely morning with him. And so this, you know, flash forward to 2007, and I walk in there, and you know, Scott and I actually sat down right at the same table that Ben, Dave, and I sat at back in a late May of 2003, and it just really hit me. You know, it hit me that Dave was. That he was gone, and you know, coming back to a place like this, and it's easy to read about it, it's easy to hear about it. It's not easy to hear about it, but it's easy to read it and not totally comprehend what that means. But then to, you know, like I said, flash forward to 2007, and here I am, and I'm sitting in the same seat that my friend sat in, and now he's gone, and he's forever lost up on the northern flanks of Everest. It really hit me. It was a very personal experience, and it was very intense. But I'm glad I had it. You know, that's all part of the reason for coming on these trips, is to understand whatever you can, whatever you need to understand that better. And so I was very fortunate to have a very intense experience, because he was a really good person. He was a very, very good person, and I was happy to know him. So, well, anyway, today we have a few goals. Our goals are to hopefully visit Swayambhu, the temple up on the hill, otherwise known as the Monkey Temple. And I've also put in a few orders for some patches for the rest of Everest, and for some t-shirts for the rest of Everest, so that Scott and I can wear t-shirts, and I can maybe give one or two out to some people that I meet along the way. And I'm looking forward to getting those. Placed that order last night. They should be done this evening. And then we might also try to go to Budnath, the massive temple here in Kathmandu. And so we might try to fit in the two temples today, but we'll see how that goes. We have a taxi driver that we promised to come and use his services. You get solicited outside the hotel, and it's very hard to say no to these folks. So looking forward to that, and looking forward to taking all of you with me. That'll be a lot of fun. So the last thing I'm going to try to do today is get a haircut, because my hair is too long. I came with it too long on purpose, knowing that I would get a haircut while I'm here from that same barber shop that Ben and I visited back in 2003. And the embroidery shop is literally right around the corner. It's about 2 shops down from the haircutting, the barber shop. So I'm going to get my hair cut and probably a shave. Our bags still aren't here. They should arrive later on today, hopefully. But anyway, so I think we're going to hop onto the roof now. As soon as Scott comes in here, we have separate rooms. And hopefully I'm going to get hold of my wife, because I have not been able to get in touch with her. I've only been able to leave messages. She's left me some text messages on my sat phone, but I haven't been able to get in touch with her. So I really want to say hi, and that I love her, and that I miss her, and that I will talk with her soon. So I'll see you guys up on the roof.
All right, Scott, so where are we right now?
We are at the Hotel Marchandi in Tamil. Up on the roof, the highest point that we can get to so far. There's 3 little terraces, little restaurant down below, and we are looking at the urban sprawl, which is Kathmandu.
It's impressive.
Well, most of it. You can't see past the smog.
Yeah, it is pretty smoggy this morning.
I think I found Monkey Temple, Swayambudnatha, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's it. Wow, that's impressive.
I think I was getting my
It's
bearings
just sort
this
of hovering
day.
up in the-
I was
in the haze.
realizing that I was in Nepal. I think it was hitting me that it was halfway around the world.
Yeah, halfway around the world. Completely different culture.
So I'm going to try to do my best filming today, but I make no promises because I don't have my tripod. It's in our luggage, wherever our luggage may be.
This roof was great.
So
I actually
hopefully,
spent a lot of time up
hopefully
there.
I can get some good shots at Swayambhu, which is right over there, or Budnath, which is going to be impossible to make out in the haze this morning.
That was so hazy.
But here, we'll
Just got
take a
worse.
quick pan around.
Yeah, this haze is a little bit of foreshadowing for some other stuff to
Probably
come.
only see about a mile, maybe a mile and a half this morning. It's incredibly hazy.
It was so good to be back in Kathmandu. Really, really enjoy Kathmandu. We just looking around the roof and saw these kids down below us. It was fun to watch them chase the chicken. So Scott, what was it like to stand up on that roof? You were telling me a second ago that you spent a lot of time up there.
I'd go up there in the morning for sure. First thing, I was pretty excited, so I didn't sleep much. But you know, Kathmandu is loud, as you can obviously hear. There's just horns and noise and people in the background. And I get there early enough, usually around like 5:30 or 6, that it was quiet. And so I'd sit up there and, of course, look at my guidebook, because that was in my pocket for most of the trip. But yeah, you know, you're looking at Kathmandu, which is just all around you. You're in the heart of this city. So that was great. It was great just to be up there and, you know, hear the city come to life.
Not a terribly exciting first episode, but as all of you know, that's all part of it. Next week, we are going to go up to the Monkey Temple and poke around and see some old friends, and that was really good. So I promise not all of the podcast will be me talking into the camera. We really do see some amazing things, so just get into it with us. And this is I want to let everyone know that this is a trip that any one of you could do yourself. So don't just watch this and say, oh, this is great, I wish I could do something like that. Do it. This is nothing we do on this trip is dangerous, and it's something that can be accomplished by anyone. And so keep that in the back of your head while you watch. So that's it. We will see you next week. The Rest of Everest is downloaded all over the world every week. If you enjoy watching and would like to show your support, then take a look at my website. Aside from having lots of additional blog entries from the expedition updated every week, there's this little donation button on every page. Now, many of you have pressed that button, and your generous contributions are helping to cover my hosting fees. If you haven't donated but would like to, then just contribute any amount. In return, I'll give you access to the video and audio dispatches I sent out while we were actually at Everest. It's pretty interesting stuff. Contribute $25 or more, and I'll even throw in an iPod-compatible version of the film Everest: The Other Side. That's the project the entire podcast here is based on. As always, our announcer is Marlon May, and our music is provided by Wendy Wu. Check her out at wendywu.com. Thanks so much, everyone, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you for watching The Rest of Everest. For more information on the expedition, please visit therestofeverest.com.